You're born in a burrow somewhere in Africa. Your mother nudges you forward with her snout, signaling for you to climb out. Your first mission is simple: cling onto her back and don't fall off. Baby pangolins ride on their mother's tail for weeks because their legs are too small and weak to keep up with the speed their moms move at. Your mother doesn't feed you yet. First, she needs to find food herself. She starts walking, her claws pressing into the soil with every step. She scrapes at the ground with her claws and tears the surface apart, but she finds nothing. So she keeps walking while you cling onto her tightly, trying not to fall off. Finally, she finds what she was looking for: an ant mound. She smashes her claws into it, ripping it open, then slides her long tongue inside. When she pulls it back, ants stick to it in clumps. The mound defends itself. Soldiers rush out, climbing onto her legs and then up toward you. Their mandibles bite into your skin, stinging until you squeal. You panic and open your mouth trying to copy your mother, but an ant slips inside. Instead of swallowing, you choke and accidentally lose your grip, falling from her tail into the dirt. The ants swarm you instantly. They bite at your legs, your belly, and anywhere soft enough to pierce. But luckily, your mother reacts fast. She sweeps her tail across the ground and smashes the ants away. Then she scoops you back up, setting you onto her tail before turning from the mound and walking off. When you finally make it back to the burrow, she lets you drink her milk. You latch on and start drinking until you suck out everything you can. Milk keeps you alive for now, but your mom won't be with you forever. And when she leaves, you'll have to survive on your own. Skip forward and you're 3 months old now. For weeks, you've been watching your mother feed, learning how to dig and flick your tongue, but tonight, you try for yourself. A cricket sits on a rock in front of you. You creep closer, flicking your tongue, but it jumps away before you can strike. A while later, you find another one perched on a branch. You lunge too early, and it vanishes into the grass. Hunger pushes you forward until finally you land one. Your tongue flicks out and snaps a cricket mid-jump. You swallow it fast. That's your first real catch, but one insect isn't enough to fill your stomach. So you climb onto your mother's tail as she keeps moving, still looking for food. But then a monitor lizard steps out from behind a bush. You freeze. You don't know if it's dangerous or just passing by. Its head drops low and its tongue flicks, testing the air. Then it rushes forward. Your mother reacts fast. She drops you off and charges straight at it. At the last moment, she curls into a ball and her scales lock together. The lizard bites and scratches, but its teeth can't break through. So it changes tactics. It shoves its jaws under her body and rips at the softer skin. A strip of flesh tears free and she squeals. The lizard bites again, pulling her closer and swallowing pieces as she shakes weaker each time. You stay frozen, just watching. Then your mother stops moving. The lizard lifts its head with blood dripping out of its jaws and turns toward you. It steps closer, ready to eat you in a single bite. You stumble backward with nowhere to run. Its mouth opens wide as it lunges for your head, but the strike never lands. The lizard jerks mid-lunge and chokes on its own weight. It twitches once, then crashes onto its side. When it swallowed your mother's flesh, it also swallowed part of her armor. Those hard scales tore through its stomach from the inside. The more time passed, the more it bled, until its strength gave out completely. Your mother's armor saved you this time, but without her you'll need to find your own defenses or the next predator won't choke before it kills you. You're 1 year old now. You've been alone for months, struggling and barely scraping by. Every day has been a fight just to stay alive. Once you tried to dig into an anthill, but a warthog came charging. You bolted, its tusks missing you by inches as it tore the mound apart for itself. Weeks pass without a proper meal and your body feels empty. You drag yourself across the open plain and finally stop moving. For the first time, you stop searching. You just wait, ready to let it all end. But then, the ground begins to vibrate. At first you think it's another predator, but then you see shapes moving fast across the plain. A herd of wildebeest is running, hundreds of hooves striking the soil. You curl tight and stay still as they pass over you. Some step only a few feet away, and one almost crushes you before jumping over. When the herd moves on, the plain looks different. Their hooves have smashed the ground open and loosened the soil. From the cracks, termites spill out in every direction. They were living under the surface, but the herd broke their tunnels. You don't wait. You flick your tongue and pull them in as fast as you can. For the first time in weeks, your stomach fills with food. Every swallow gives you a little more energy back. Then you hear steps behind you. You turn and see another pangolin. He's bigger than you, but his scales are cracked and scars cover his body. He must have survived many fights. He walks up slowly and starts feeding from the same termites. Normally, you'd guard the food, but you don't. You just keep eating. Watching him scarred, but still alive, you realize you don't have it as bad as you thought. Skip forward again, and you're 2 years old now. You're heavier and stronger, but every night still feels like a test. Your armor has saved you before, but today, you'll learn whether that's enough. The smell of honey guides you through the grass. At the base of a tree, you find a hive split open with wax spilling out. A honey badger crouches there with its face buried in the comb. You walk closer, hoping it might leave some behind. But the badger notices. Its head snaps toward you, and it charges instantly. On instinct, you curl up into a ball. He attacks by scraping his claws against your armor, but nothing breaks through. The badger starts circling, frustrated. The badger growls and swipes again, but when you stay locked tight, it hesitates. You sense the pause, so you unroll fast and slam your tail into its snout. It reels back, and you rush forward, slicing its side with the sharp edges of your scales. It stumbles and tries to lunge again, but you explode forward and whip him once more. The cuts open deeper. The badger stops, then collapses on its back and goes still. For the first time, you've stood against a predator and won. You stand over the badger's body for a while, then turn around and dig into the hive, swallowing honey and grubs until your belly is full. Every bite tastes like victory, but predators won't be your only problem forever. Soon, you'll face a new danger, one your armor won't protect you from. You're 3 years old now. The scent of a female drifts through the grass, and instinct drives you to follow. The trail leads into an open patch where she moves slowly, with her head down, searching the ground for insects. You circle her cautiously, and when she notices, she doesn't chase you off. That's all the signal you need to walk closer. You shadow her steps, waiting until she stops. Then you climb onto her back and begin to mate. For a moment, it feels like success, but another male steps from the grass. He doesn't attack right away, he just watches. You drop off and raise your tail, ready to defend yourself, but he stays still. So you hurry back onto the female, trying to finish before he makes his move. The moment you slide off, he charges. His weight slams into your side, throwing you across the dirt. Before you can even recover, he mounts the female as if you were never there. She doesn't resist. To her, the difference doesn't matter. You lunge forward, grab his tail, and pull with all your strength. He barely moves, so you pull again, dragging him a few inches back. The female spins in frustration, not to defend you, but to strike. Her claws slice across your side, and her jaws snap down once on your scales. The pain forces you into a ball. When you unroll, it's over. The female walks away with him at her side, leaving you bleeding in the dirt. You watch them vanish into the grass, with rage burning hotter than the wound. This wasn't a loss you'll forget. Next time, you'll make sure that it won't be you on the ground. You're 5 years old now. Hunger has carried you farther than ever before, out of the scrub and into open farmland. Trails of ants cut across the soil. You walk after them because they are easy to follow. You dig into the loose dirt left behind by plows. Insects scatter everywhere. You flick your tongue and swallow them in clumps, filling your stomach fast. At the edge of the field, a half-buried log draws your attention. You walk up to it and claw it open. Instantly, dozens of termites pour from the cracks. Then a shadow appears over you. You freeze. A man is walking closer with a basket hanging from one hand. Instinct tells you to curl, and you lock tight inside your scales. His footsteps stop beside you. You expect hands to grab you, but instead he crouches. The basket tips forward and he scatters insects across the soil. They crawl toward you in clusters, alive and fresh. You stay in your defense position just waiting, but he doesn't touch you. He stands up, lifts the basket again, and steps back. You uncurl cautiously. Your head rises just enough to test the air. The insects are close, so you flick your tongue and swallow them one after another while the man watches in silence. When you've had enough, you stop and face him. He doesn't move closer. He just turns away and walks back across the field until he disappears. This was your first encounter with humans. He seemed harmless, even helpful. But not every man will scatter food at your feet. The next one might bring something far worse. Skip forward and you're 10 years old now. Heavy rains have flooded the land, forcing everything that can move into the open. To keep going, you reach a swollen river. The current is strong, but there's no other way across. You step into the water slowly. The push of the current almost knocks you sideways, but you press forward. Halfway across, the surface breaks. A crocodile surges up from below and clamps its jaws around your tail. In an instant, you're pulled under. Mud and bubbles blur the water as you shake, twisting and curling tight, but its grip holds. The crocodile rolls, trying to tear you apart. You kick hard, forcing yourself to uncurl and curl again. The edges of your scales cut against its jaws, and for a moment, its grip loosens. You wrench free and lunge upward, breaking through the surface to gasp for air, but the crocodile isn't finished. It surges again, with its jaws snapping inches from your side. Then the water erupts a second time. A hippo barrels through the current, heading straight for the bank, and the crocodile turns toward the larger target. It lunges, but the hippo doesn't even notice. It walks over the crocodile and crushes it with the weight of its own body. The crocodile thrashes once, then goes still. The water darkens red. You drift with the current until you can claw your way onto the far bank. Behind you, the hippo moves on calmly, leaving the crocodile's broken body sinking into the floodwater. Your armor saved you from the crocodile, but against what's coming next, it won't matter. Skip forward again, and you're 12 years old now. Age has made you slower, but you've survived longer than most. One afternoon, while moving along the plains, you stray too close to a village. A man spots you. He rushes forward with a sack. You decide to do what you've always done. You curl tight, trusting your armor. But this time, it doesn't matter. Rough hands lift you easily and drop you into the sack. You're carried into a truck where other pangolins are already packed, their bodies pressed against yours. The engine starts, and the journey is long. Hours blur into days. You hear scratching, but over time, some of the movement goes silent. When the sack finally opens, it isn't freedom. You're in a crowded market. Men drag you out, weigh you, and pass you across the stalls. Money changes hands and you're traded like an object. Pangolins are the most trafficked mammals in the world. They make up nearly 20% of all illegal wildlife trade. From there, you're moved again. At last, the crate opens in a city far from Africa. You're in China. Hands reach in and drag you onto a cold floor. This time there is no escape. They kill you quickly and strip away your body. Your scales are ripped off, ground into powder and sealed into bags marked as medicine. All around you, dozens more pangolins pass away in the same way. Life as a pangolin might be rough, but there's another animal out there that has it way worse. Trust me, it's wild. Check out the video and see for yourself.